Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing GCSE Edexcel Maths 2023 Paper 3 Part 1. Well, as you can see in thumbnail, I have asked is it possible to prepare for GCSEs or to upgrade your grades just by doing the past papers? Well, it is, but by my method. So what I'm gonna do in this paper that I'll be discussing the basics around that topic. Suppose we are doing one question, so I'll be covering the theory around it. So that's what I'm gonna do. So let's see how you can improve, and I can assure you that these past papers solution are a little bit different from others, and it's definitely gonna help you in improving your grades. Well, apart from that, if you're looking for GCSE online classes, it's just at £6 per hour. And if you need class for any subject for any year from year 1 to year 13, just email us at exactacademy@gmail.com and we'll coordinate accordingly. And you can access free material on exactacademy.com as well. So let me start.
Question number 1a. Simplify m to the power of 2 whole cubed. This is the question of indices. This is here you have to apply the rule of indices. Even the part B is also about the rule of indices. As I told you, these papers that we are doing are the best way to improve your grade. So we are not just going to do the papers like just the questions and get the answers. These are a little different type of paper solution in which I'll be giving you the whole background. That means if here the question is about indices rule, so I'll be discussing all the indices rule first. So first rule says, first of all, indices is a to the power of m. If something has a power over it, a number has a power in terms of number or variable, this is your indices. If you are doing some operations, it has some rules. So first rule is the product rule. The product rule says a to the power of m into a to the power of n is equals to a to the power of m plus n. That means if there are two different indices, I am multiplying them together, the base number is same, then the power gets added. Like 2 to the power of 3 into 2 to the power of 2. Clearly, the base number is same, I need to add the powers. 2 to the power of 3 plus 2, 5. Now look at this one. It has the same base number but the different powers, and we are multiplying them. So x to the power of 5 multiplied by x to the power of 8, it will become x to the power of 8 plus 5, which is x to the power of 30. This would be your answer. The second rule says the quotient rule. The quotient rule is when you are dividing indices having same base number but the different power. So a to the power of m over a to the power of n equals a to the power of m minus n. That means we have base 2 to the power of 4 over 2 to the power of 3. Base numbers are exactly same, the powers are different, which means it will be 2 to the power of 4 minus 3, which is 2 to the power of 1. So this is applicable when you are dividing. Now moving on to the power rule. The power rule says there is a power over another power. So a to the power of, or take a to the power of, a to the power of m whole to the power of n. So there is a power over another power. So I need to multiply them together. Similarly, it's m to the power of 2 whole to the power of 3. There is a power over another power. So it would be m to the power of 2 into 3, which is m to the power of 6. So answer would be m to the power of 6. Next. The next rule says if you are multiplying, they have different base numbers but powers are same. So this is about the product rule in which the base number is different but base number different powers are same. X to the power of m into x to the power of, y to the power of m. They both have the different base number, but the powers are same. So like 2 to the power of 3 into 3 to the power of 3. They both have different base numbers, but the same powers. So this would be 2 into 3 whole to the power of 3. This can be written as xy whole to the power of m. Multiplying base numbers whole to the power of something. So 2 into 3 is 6 whole to the power of 3. So which will be 216. The second is if you are dividing having the different base numbers but the powers is same. So it would be x to the power of m whole to the power over y to the power of m. Clearly the base numbers are different but the powers are same. So x to the power of m over y to the power of m. This will become x over y whole to the power of m. Now let me show you one example of such question. If suppose the question is 3 to the power of 2 over 9 to the power of 2. So this would be written as 3 over 9 whole squared. Because I said x to the power of m over y to the power of m can be written as x over y whole to the power of m. So now this can be simplified as 1 over 3 whole to the power of 2, which is 1 over 9. The next indices rule says that anything to the power of 0 is always 1. So it's like x to the power of 0 is 1, a to the power of 0 is 1, 1000 to the power of 0 is 1. Doesn't matter whatever the base number, the power is always same. So if I say 100, negative 100 whole to the power of 0, still it's 1. Now the next, which deals with the fractional indices. A fractional indices and the negative indices. A to the power of negative m is 1 over m. Like 2 to the power of negative 2 is 1 over 2 to the power of 2. 2 over 3 whole to the power of negative 1. So now the reciprocal is happening. That means numerator is going to denominator and denominator is moving to numerator. That means this denominator will become numerator and this numerator will become denominator, and thus your power will become positive. Now the most common mistake is 2 over 3. A student does negative 2 over 3. Or some who are aware that we have to do the reciprocal, so they'll do 3 to the power of 2 negative. There's no point of putting negative sign before the number. By reciprocaling, we are converting the negative power to positive power. That's it. So like, take one more example. If it's 3 over 5 whole to the power of negative 3. 3 over 5 whole to the power of negative 3. This would be, the denominator will go in numerator, numerator will go to the denominator, and the power will become positive. So this will become plus 3. So 5 over 3 whole to the power of 3, which is 125 over 27. The last that deals with the indices, the fractional indices. So if it's 4 to the power of 2 over 3. Or let me take one more simple. Let's say 32 to the power of 3 over 5. So the best way to solve any fractional indices is you just have to simplify your base number. That means try to convert the base number into any index form, like a to the power of m form. And this can be done by prime factorization. That's the easiest way. So if I prime factorization is finding all the prime numbers by factor tree method. If you're not aware, just go back and see the previous paper solution. you will get it there. So if I prime factorize, your first step is prime factorize base number. So this would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Your first step completed. The second step would be converting it into a to the power of m form. So because I am multiplying to 5 times, so this can be written as 2 to the power of 5. And still there is a power up there. We just saw the power rule, which says a to the power of m whole to the power of n. Just multiply the powers. So I just need to multiply the powers. This will become 2 to the power of 3, which is 8. So that's your final answer, and this is the way. So we have discussed what we are going to do. Obviously, for each question, I'm not gonna discuss the whole topic, would be difficult, but the key points, the important thing that I can cover, I'll be covering. Now, the part C says expand 4p times p squared plus 3p. So here we are expanding. Now, this is about expanding the single bracket. Expanding single bracket says you have to expand every term outside with every term inside. So, like there is just in single bracket, there will be just one term outside. But there can be many terms inside. Here, there are only 2 terms inside. So I have to multiply them together. So 4 times p squared 4p cubed plus 4p times 3p plus 12p squared. This is how you can find or expand the single bracket. So like if it would be 2 times a minus b, so what you will be doing? Multiplying the first term, the outside term, with the first term of inside one, which is 2a, and multiplying the outside term with the inside one, which is minus 2b. This is how you can simplify any single bracket. There is about expanding the double bracket as well. So suppose this is x plus y times x plus y. So there is a simple way. You can dissociate this double bracket into single bracket. That means I can write x times this whole bracket, x times x plus y, and I can write y times x plus y. So what I did, I have dissociated the first term of first bracket with every term of second bracket, and second term of first bracket with every term of second bracket. Simple. I have applied the distributive law. Now, x times x is x squared. Now I just need to simplify single bracket. X times y is xy plus y times x is yx, and y times y is y squared. So x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. Now, similarly, suppose it's written as a plus b times a minus b. So again, a, the first number with the second bracket, second number with the second bracket. So this would be a squared minus ab plus ab minus b squared. This will be 0 final a squared minus b squared. So this is how you can expand the double bracket. Now coming back to the single bracket that we have. So 4p times p squared is 4p cubed plus 4p times 3p is 12p squared. Moving on to the next one. Johnny wants to know how much coffee he will need for 800 people at a meeting. Each person who drinks coffee will drink 2 cups of coffee. 10.6 grams of coffee is needed for each cup of coffee. Johnny assumes 68% of the people will drink coffee. Using this assumption, work out the amount of coffee Johnny needs. Give your answer correct to the nearest gram. So, we have using this assumption, work out the amount of coffee Johnny needs. Basically, each person who drinks coffee will drink 2 cups. There are 800 people and 10.5 grams of coffee is needed for each. So 10.6 multiplied by 2, it will be for each person, and multiplied by basically 800 will give you answer for, you can say, but it's given that not 800, 68% of people will drink coffee. So this 10.6 into 2 will give you 21.8 grams of coffee required for each person. We have to calculate 68% of 800, which is 544. So 544 people requires 21.2 grams of coffee, which is 11532.8. Answer is 11532.8. In this question, we required the concept of percentage only, that's it. Now Johnny's assumption is wrong. 72% of the people will drink coffee. How does this affect your answer? Obviously it will affect, because what will happen, that 72%, that means the percentage, obviously it's just one marker. You need not to show any sort of calculation in it. Just we know that if percent of people will increase, that means the number of people will increase. And if number of people will increase, they will need more coffee. That's it. So he will need more coffee, or more coffee will be used. Question 3. This is about the parallel lines. So before I do this one, I'm showing you the concept of parallel lines. So if these two lines are parallel to each other, they will have the same common distance, constant distance throughout the line. And there will be a transversal. So the two lines are cut by the transversal. In that case, what will happen, that there will be two lines, two angles, that these two are called corresponding angles. So I would say A and A will be equal. Similarly, this and this, I would say B and B are equal. C and C are equal, and D and D are equal. So they are basically corresponding angles. Okay. So if two lines are parallel and one transversal cuts it, then these two angles will always be equal because they are corresponding angles. So this was about the corresponding angle. Second type of angle is interior angles. These angles, this, because these are inside, so are called interior angles. And these are exterior angles. Okay. So we know that alternate interior angles are always equal. So we know as long as I heard the angle interior, they will be inside. And these are alternate. So they are called alternate interior angles. Similarly, that means they are equal. So if this is A, this is A. Similarly, this is B and this is B. So these alternate interior angles are always equal. Now the third one says the interior angles. These are interior angles, and at the same side they will add up to 180 degrees. A plus B equals 180 degrees. And that's all is required. One more thing which will be in need is that the angle of a straight line is 180 degrees.
If there's a straight line, if I say this is an angle, it is always 180 degrees. That means if this is angle A and this is angle B, so A plus B is always equals to 180 degrees. Only these three things are required, that's it. There are other as well. Alternate exterior angles are equal, or vertically opposite angles, that are not very important, but still, I mean, they are obviously, but you can prove them equal by this three things that we have you can say discussed. Well, exterior angles are this one and this one because they are outside. Alternate exterior angles are this one and this one. They both are equal. This one and this one, they both are equal. So alternate exterior angles are always equal. But these three that I have discussed, corresponding angles, alternate interior angles, they are equal, and sum of interior angle is always equals to 180 degrees. That will help you in finding the value for any type of question. So now let me see this one, the question that we have. ACF and ADG are straight lines and BCD and EAGF are parallel lines. Show that triangle ACD is an isosceles. It says you have to show ACD is an isosceles triangle. If I want to prove that ACD is an isosceles triangle, which means I have to prove any two angles to be equal. Well, if the sides are mentioned, we can prove two sides are equal. But here, all the involvement is with, like, it deals with the angles. Obviously, as I told you, that if you add up or if I ask you the angle of a straight line, it's always 180 degrees. So this whole is 180 degrees. So this would be 180 minus 110, that is 70 degrees, because they add up to 180. Similarly, I can calculate this one. This is also angles in a straight line is 180. So this will be 180 minus 125, which is 55 degrees. I told you if two lines are parallel and there is a transversal, then these two are corresponding angles. So clearly, if these two are corresponding angles, this one is also 55 degrees. And the third angle is calculated by, if you add two angles and subtract it from 180, you will get the answer. So 70 plus 155 plus 180 plus the angle A is equals to 180. From here, A is equals to 180 minus 70 plus 55, which is 55 degrees. So this is 55, and if two angles of a triangle is equal, it's an isosceles triangle. So what all we have, this one is angle sin. So I can say I have calculated angle F is equals to 55 degrees because angles of straight line is 180 degrees. The second one is we have calculated angle C because corresponding angles are equal. And third one, this angle D is equals to 180 minus 110 because angles in a straight line is 180 degrees. So I can say 180 minus 110 is 70 degrees. So angle D is 70. Similarly, this one is 180 minus 125. And this is equals to 55. And finally, angle A plus angle C plus angle D is 180 degrees. So angle A is equals to 180 minus 55 minus 70, which is 55 degrees. So sum of all angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So this is how we can prove it. The next says it takes 14 hours for 5 identical pumps to fill the water. How many hours would it take for 4 of these pumps to fill another water tank of the same size? See, this is the question of inverse relationship. So before that, if you're not aware of inverse or direct relationship, let me just explain. If two things are directly proportional, that means if one variable increases, the other variable increases as well. If one variable decreases, the other variable decreases as well. So x is directly proportional to y signifies that one is increasing, another is increasing, one is decreasing, another is decreasing. Then the equation can be found by x equals ky. That means we cannot solve the question if the proportionality sign is given. We have to introduce equals to sign, and that's why I have written x is equals to ky. I have to find the value of k depending on the question. Once I have the value of k, suppose we have calculated k as 3, so answer is x equals 3y. Now let me show you one question how you can solve it. Suppose it's written as x is directly proportional to y. If x is equals to 3, y is equals to 9, find an equation connecting them together. First thing says x is directly proportional to y, so I will write x is directly proportional to y and x is equals ky. Now the main purpose and the only purpose is to calculate the value of k, which we can calculate by putting the value of 3 and x and y. So x is 3 and y is 9. From here I'll get k equals 1 over 3. Once I have the value of k as 1 over 3, I can put that value in place of k. So in place of k here, I'll get x equals 1 over 3y. So x equals y over 3. So that's your final equation. Similarly, this is about direct proportion. There is something you can say indirect proportion or inverse proportion. So x is inversely proportional to y. That's the meaning of inverse relationship. They are inversely proportional to each other. So x is equals to ky. Because we cannot solve in terms of proportionality, we have to introduce a constant to convert it into an equation. And similarly, according to the given question, like whatever be the value of x and y given, we have to calculate the value of k. Suppose k comes out to be 3, so answer is x equals 3 over y. That's all. Question 4 is the word problem of it. So question says, it takes 14 hours for 5 identical pumps to fill a water. Now you have to think whether it's a direct proportion or an inverse proportion. Because if you increase the number of pumps, obviously it will take a lesser number of time to fill it. Simple. So they are inversely proportional. So time is inversely proportional to the number of pumps. How many hours would it take for 4 of these pumps to fill another water tank of the same size? We have this relation, so I can write T is equals to K over P. Then just put the value of T, put the value of P and get the value of K. So T is number of hours, which is 14. P is the number of pumps, which is 5. So K is 70. Your final equation is T equals 70 over P. That's it. This is your equation. But now they're asking how many hours would it take for 4 of these pumps to fill another water tank of the same size. That's the reason we were calculating the equation. So that whatever be the value of pumps or hours come out, you have to, any missing variable will help us. If I have you can say any equation, if I know the value of x, I can calculate the value of y, just putting in the equation. Similarly, I have the equation. I just need to put the value of pumps there. So T is equals to 70 over 4. That's all it's need. And this will give you 17.5 hours. So that's it for today. In the next video, we'll be covering the rest of the questions.